Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Brian Nato. It is a special four-day race week this week. Of course, today is the end of the fiscal year here in Florida, so we must run. And the big news, of course, Brian, mandatory payouts not only in the Rainbow Six, the late pick 5, and the super high 5 and the 8-race card, and everything must go today.
Well, you stole my thunder because that's it, Ronnie. Everything must go. That Rainbow starts with a pool of 133,000. I would think we comfortably get to $1 million, maybe a couple million. It's a good, tough sequence. We've both got tickets, so a lot to look forward to here. Like you said, it's all going to get paid out today.
The main track is fast, all-weather Tapeta. No turf racing at Gulfstream Park at this time of year. The first race today is going to be a 5-furlong sprint on the all-weather Tapeta. And Brian, you put an early pick 5 ticket together. Let's check it out.
Yeah, $45 and a 3x3 to start it off in race 2. Truly, that's my long shot play of the day, number 1 down inside. The single is in race 3, a very, very short price on Grand Player. 2 deep in the 4th with Ever 3 on top there, and then a deep spread in the get-out leg, and this is a tough one. I thought it was very problematic. I go down and I go to the 7, Sadie's Amendment for a barn that's popped with a few firsters already. I think that one will be very, very live on the board. $45, Ronnie.
$45. First race today, as I mentioned, 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Maiden claiming fillies and mares. 3-year-olds and up $25,000. A couple of jockey changes on the 4. Make the rudder Romero Mirage, and on the outside horse, it's Nora Now. Make the rudder Miguel Vasquez. You started off in here with the number 7 horse. That horse that's getting the jockey change will go there first. It's Nora Now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at our 3 picks, they're all the same. They're just jumbled up. These are the 3, though, in here. And, you know, it's Nora Now got to the Tapeta last time and really blew way up. I mean, she hadn't done any running at all in her first 2 starts, and she had a little bit of a layoff, and she comes back and chased early, and instead of giving it up like she did in her first 2 starts, she held on pretty well, all things considered, and the winner was, the horse that she was chasing early won that day. Now we take the big drop. I like this outside attack post, and I think, to me, in the jock switch to Miguel is significant as well, but all along, I thought It's Nora Now was the one in here.
The number 1, Mooley, is dropping to the 25 level and breaking from the rail. Going to wear blinkers this afternoon. I'm going to go back and pick up this race. I'm going to show the top of the stretch home. When she makes a move in here, she is the number 2 horse this day. And now you're going to see her there. She's, looking for a place to run. And she's, I don't know if she was going to beat the big favorite in here, the 4 to 5 shot, but I think she runs well. And you're going to see her just now when she comes inside. She's going to get bumped around a little bit. And I just thought that when she was going to make a move, you'll see it. She just gets off her stride there. Tough to come back. He wasn't going to beat the favorite that afternoon, but I like the way that she re-rallied and started coming back again. And, of course, it's Saffie Joseph Jr. He's 22% with first-time blinkers, and Edwin Gonzalez handling the inside draw. So I just thought that horse, getting bopped around a little stretch, didn't know if it was going to beat the winner, but I thought would have ran better.
Yeah. Mooley. Yeah, I did think she ran on late. I thought that was impressive. She could have easily given it up, but she tried again. Now the blinkers go on. You're going to have to work out a trip again from down in here. It could be a little tricky, but we've talked about this a long time. Edwin rides at Tapeta as good as anyone, and she got the experience over it last time too. So, yeah, I do think she's the horse to beat in here.
The number 2, Witch of Love, a productive second at this distance. 2 starts ago, turns back, tracked the pace, failed to launch a bid when finishing 5th as the favorite, going 5.5. Horse is currently the 2-to-1 favorite. I know you got a stat with Victor Barboza Jr.
Yeah, well, take a look at this one. I've got a couple today for Victor, and this one was alarming, but it's a stat. 2 for 33, 6% Tapeta sprint. So this is not necessarily his game, and this is a high percentage barn. We'll show a stat later on, something that he does really well. Listen, food for thought on a horse that's going to be bet. You see her up here right now at 2-to-1. That's one of the reasons I put her in 3rd.
Embassy El Jaramillo will be in the saddle. We're going to go to race number 2 this afternoon. This one is about 1 mile, 70 yards on the Tapeta. These are claimers, fillies, 3-year-olds of 4 and up, non-winners of 3 races in life. Jockey change on the 1, make the rudder Jesus Rios. You went with the number 1 horse in here, and that is Truly. This is your long shot, right?
My long shot play of the day at 20 on the line, and you're going to get a very square price on this horse because I feel like she's got dirtied up form, but you got to look a little bit, dig a little bit, go back to her 2 Tapeta races for Danny Hertak, by the way, who got her back last time. They were 2 races, Ronnie, against better, races that, at least, on paper, on figures, they put her in the mix with this kind of group. She's down inside. She can save all the ground. It's a race where, I think you're allowed to maybe get a little creative, and that's what I was doing with Truly in here.
Yeah, Jesus Rios will be in the saddle. As I mentioned, Marcos Smith is not riding this afternoon. I went with the 4. Kentucky Pride is hoping to bounce back after following that hard-fought score at this distance. That was 2 starts back. Then comes back, runs a so-so fourth against 8 3-lifetime claimers last time out. 4, Bobby Hess Jr. You're getting Junior Alvarado in the saddle today, and it's the old bounce-rebound angle for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to like about Kentucky Pride. The barn's just not winning races. I mean, it is what it is. The barn has struggled to get to the winner's circle, sent out some live horses, and has done well to run underneath, but not winning races. I do think Junior getting aboard, it's a positive move. Not that Edgar Perez, who's been riding phenomenal, all Royal Palm me, no knock there. But I just kind of wanted to fade this horse a little bit, at least on top.
The number 5, Kitana, you have on your ticket is 9-2 on the morning line, and that is, Kitana, 6-1 on the morning line, excuse me.
Yeah, this horse is going to be bet today. You got to dig here, too. We'll go back to this horse's Tapeta form and for Jose Garofalo, and it fits very, very nicely. Let's check out this stat. It's a wild stat. It's a 2-part stat. So overall, Peter Walder is 24%, 6 for 24. That's good enough to Peter routes at Gulfstream. How about 4 for 4 with Miguel, Ronnie, with a 660 ROI? Who's riding today? Miguel Vasquez. And again, a lot like Truly, almost like a poorer version of Truly, a lot like Truly. She's got the Tapeta form to fall back on.
The number 7, Shea on a mission, is going back to the Tapeta and dropping today after rallying to finish third against 12-5 claimers, going a mile on the turf for Victor Barboza Jr. He's solid with the turf to Tapeta angle. He's about 19%. That is the number 7 horse. So you can see here we went all different ways in race number 2. Glad that's not the opening leg of the Rainbow 6, and that'll happen in race number 3. So we'll take that short break. When we come back, it will be Rainbow 6 time.
In the 2-path. Ground off first inside. Race. A quarter of a mile to go, and he's 6 on top. It's last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Race number 3, 6 1/2 furlongs maiden. Claim is 3 and up, 20 down to 16. It is where the Rainbow 6 starts this afternoon with that mandatory payout. We got one scratch in here of the number 4 horse in here, big 30-1 Rio Hato, I think it is, and scratch the jockey change on the number 5, make that right at MCL Jaramillo. We'll go to Brian's ticket first to see how it plays out. Let's see what you put together.
81 after a scratch. I did lose a top pick later on. We'll get to this race in a second. Number 5 on top, Ever 3 in race 4. Two deep spreads for me. Race 5, and I mentioned already Sadie's Amendment. I think that horse is going to get bet and get played today. Take note of that. Bally Baby's my best bet of the day. 3 deep in the 7th with Spear Gun on top. And Ronnie, if I get to the 8th race, I will hit the Rainbow 6. Top pick is Ghost in You.
Ghost in You, so all in the last race. Good handicapping in that last race. Race 3 this afternoon, 6 1/2 furlongs maiden. Claimers 3 and up, 20 down to 16. As I mentioned, scratch the 4 Rio Hato, and the jockey on the 5 is MCL Jaramillo. Of course, Pete will be up right after we're done to update you with all the scratches you need to get that winning ticket in the Rainbow 6. Grand Player, I think, was one of your singles in here. Drop it to the 20 level and turn it back to 6 1/2 furlongs.
Yeah, we can take a look at your ticket.
Oh, my ticket, that's right. I saw yours. I got so excited. 86.40.
Whoa, you beat me.
Yeah, I beat you today, 86.40, and you can see I got that reverse pyramid going. We'll talk about the 3rd, which I just tried to do a minute ago. 4 deep in race number 4. This is the race that scares me. I ended up with Ellie Reese Easton on top, but I could go different ways in there. 3 deep in race number 5 with Made for Summer Temetry and Sonicus in race number 6 did use your 2 Bally Baby, but also like Rowan Crichton's, the 3 Reposado Loca and Boss Lady Kim. And then here is where I get a little weak in the ticket because I wanted to keep it 86.40. Got my long shot in race number 7 with the 3 Show Chuck, who is a speed of the speed, I hope, in there. But I also use Smiling Truffles. And in the last race, I thought Quantum Theory was the one to be for David Forks. He's a monster on the Tapeta and Star Shopping. So a little light in those bottom races because I really couldn't get through these early ones here. I know you single grand player. As I mentioned before I showed my ticket, dropping to the 20 level. We're going to go back and show you this horse's last race. We're going to show you, he breaks slowly at the start. So first I wanted to show you the number 2 horse this day. And you're just going to see, you know, there's the pan of it. But when you see the look, you just see back of the pack there. And then you're just, you know, behind the 8 ball already. Now look at this horse closing from far back. You know, really had to get going in here. They went okay up front with the 46.66 first half. But here comes this horse making a nice move. But on the lead is 3-5 Caminero. So this horse, you know, just cruising on the front end. But after that slow start, I thought this horse was very game to run second in this race. And if you go back and listen to the call with Pete Ayala, he was enamored the way the number 2 ran that day, Grand Player ran. So I just thought it was a top-notch performance behind a big favorite after breaking slowly.
You were on replay duty today, but I was pulling this one up myself because you just saw it right there. I mean, this horse ran very, very well on very disadvantageous trip. You'd like to think she's better behaved with that. He's better behaved with that race behind him at the start today, and if that's the case and he breaks with this field, I just don't see him beating him.
You got a stat with Victor on this one?
Yeah, so this is the old, you know, we showed in race 1, not a great stat. We'll take a look at this one. This one's all right. 39% with a huge ROI, maiden claiming dirt sprints right here the past year. So this is a barn that does pretty much everything really well. Well, this is an awesome stat, and to me, it's named the score time for Grand Player, provided he breaks running.
The number 1, Celestial Glaze, is dropping a notch after pressing the pace and finishing 3rd against those 25 maidens, going 6th for Dan Hertak. You're getting leading jock Miguel Vasquez, going to deal with the inside post this afternoon.
Yeah, that could be problematic, and I think he's going to have to deal with Grand Player, too, and that's the other problem, that thing that's problematic as well. But, listen, if Grand Player's a bad actor again at the start, both of Celestial's last 2 races, off the claim for Danny, have been very, very solid efforts.
I'm glad you had some interest in the number 7, Go Home Happy. Your son of Union Rags returns to action with Lasix added after finishing 3rd against those 25 maidens. Now, this was this horse's 6th furlong, a freshman finale back in December. That's why the Lasix is going on for the 3-year-old debut. Just respect the connections of Ed Plesa Jr. Kevin Krieger will be in the saddle.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, he's another logical one if Grand Player doesn't fire Lasix. It was a voided claim last time, which is a little dicey. Hasn't run now since December 16th. What do we get today is the question mark.
Well, here's the race that was the head scratcher for me on the Rainbow Six ticket. I'll be the first to admit it. And, of course, Brian and I will see how he plays. I'm dying to see how he goes. 6 furlongs, claim his Phillies 3 or 4 and up, non-winners of 3 in life, $6,250. You did go with the number 5, Ever 3, who should be primed and ready, I believe, to offer more.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the Antonio Exacta box here. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought this race was somewhat cut and dry. Miguel Vasquez is going to ride the 5 Ever 3 like he did in her last 3 starts. And, you know, she ran well on the class rise last time, and Snackster was good that day. And I think now right back off that race, I think she's the one in here.
Well, the other one from Antonio Sano is the number 3 horse in here, Ellie's Reese Easton. We're going to go back and show you. First, we're going to show you this horse. Breaking slowly at the start is the number 8 horse that day. And just watch the start here. You know, it's already sort of up against it, you know, and it sort of got to, you know, race into position here. And just a typical slow start. Not last, but certainly behind a bunch of horses in there. And then we're going to just pick it up when at the top of the stretch to the wire. And you're going to see this horse, you know, going through horses. I just thought it was a really nice performance. Right now, I'm saying this horse is not going to win.
Yeah.
Splits those horses and just comes on pretty nicely in the race to win it. So you got a 2-pronged attack from trainer Antonio Sano. And here this horse closes to to win it. It was much the best. And this horse was 8-1 that day.
Yeah, the other thing I like too is the pace of this race pretty much held. I mean, the leader finished third, the runner-up was tracking in third throughout. So I really felt, Ronnie, this on the face of it was a really, really strong effort. Antonio and Imaginary Stables teaming up here, and I just thought she was the one to beat right back.
Hector Barrios, no, who's riding that one? Jesus Rios in the saddle today. We might get, I don't know if we're going to get a change on that one or
Yeah,
not.
I think we're going to have to because I believe
unless he's just off the first
just
today. We'll
possible.
check on that.
Yeah, Pete will have you on.
The number one, Kenya Sun, is a candidate, I believe, for a rebound performance after failing to show her usual keen early interest when she felt the fire at this distance last time out. Victor Barboza Jr. just cruised down this horse's past performances. Hector Barrios handling the inside post this afternoon. Thought maybe this horse, if it can bounce back and show some speed, could be a little bit of a danger there. You just go back and look at those races, you know, back in April and March, you know, speed on the engine, comes back, just doesn't break and doesn't run well.
Yeah, so I think you can be forgiving of that effort. The thing that worried me was there's a lot of speed in this race. It's another reason why I like Ellie Resistant and Ever 3 because there's plenty of speed. So if she breaks running, that means she's the inside speed. That's a tough road to hoe. But yeah, I agree with you that her races prior to the dud last time fit with this kind of group.
You know, I wanted to ask you about the horse you have in fourth. I did not use on my ticket. This is the morning line favorite, number 7, Mongolian Mission for Jose Gallegos. You know, just really, I guess if you go back to those couple of performances, now this one was going long on the Tapeta, so I was trying to make a case for this horse sprinting on the main track and really didn't come up with it.
Yeah, I have to send in 4 picks, so this happened to be the 4th one. Yeah, I can't use this horse at all today. I didn't know what to make of her. She's run one time on the main track. It was ages ago. She's been running 2 turns. To me, this is a very, very sharp 6 furlongs for her.
The 5th race this afternoon is 5.5 furlongs on that fast main track. If you're just joining us, fast main track this afternoon. Of course, mandatory payouts in Rainbow 6, the late pick 5, and the super high 5. This one, 5.5, maiden special weight, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. And you went with the 15-1 on the board here.
Yeah, I would be scared as heck if this horse is 15-1. I think this horse is going to be bet. I think this horse is 5 or 6-1, maybe lower. Joe Cantonese has been very crafty at the meet with a couple of firsters as well. One of them for JMJ Racing Round. There's a big pedigree here. The damn Nash Indy was very, very good. Nash Inda, who was 2 for 2 to start her career, earned almost $500,000 in a 5 for 9 career. This is a half to Nash Indy, who was very, very good early in her career as well. There's a big pedigree here. Luca has ridden the horses for this barn. I have a feeling in a race where, you know, I think it's there for the taking. I think this horse is going to be very, very live. It's not going to help you in the rainbow. Take note of this horse, at least in the pick 5 and certainly the late pick 4. You can see the toed action. I would think this horse is live.
Yeah, New York bred. It's son of Constitution, daughter of Constitution, I'd say. I went with the 8 made for some, was turning back to 5.5 after returning from about a 6-month layoff to finish the stalk to pace second, going 6 against those maiden special weight runners from Mike Yates. Has his daughter of Exaggerated. This one is burning it up in the morning, debuting pretty sharply for this assignment. So I like the workout pattern. I love the work that Mike Yates has been doing his horses over the last week or so. Not that they always run well, have been running exceptionally well. And you know, this horse just looks like it woke up with the Lasix last time out.
Agree on everything, and the layoff probably did her, the layoff and the maturity. The only knock to me is now she's kind of the hunted today as opposed to the hunter. You're going to get an underlaid price. The other thing, too, is Rachel's Rock, who was so good that day, and they bet her like she was. She didn't run last time. I was very disappointed in her effort, so I'm not sure now how good that race is, but if she moves forward, made for summer, yes, she's going to be tough.
The number 3, Temerity, is a debut on the main track after returning from about a 10-month layoff. You go back, I almost showed the start of this race. If you look at the head-on, just, you know, took a right turn and almost went to the popcorn stand, was 5th against special weight foes, going 5 on the Tapeta for Fernando Abreu, and you get Miguel Vasquez. Surface switch today, and I think this horse with a break could be right there.
Yeah, I agree, because you saw it on debut when she chased a pretty hot pace sprinting on the turf. So, yeah, if she's better behaved today, it's going to put her closer early on, and that's not a bad thing.
Number 1, Sonicus, is getting both Lasix and blinkers today, making her first start since she showed speed and faded. That was her 6 furlong debut against 15 maiden optional claimers way back in December. She makes a 3-year-old debut for Safi Joseph Jr., who's solid with this layoff. He's about 24%.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's so good with second out maidens. I don't know if that applies today with such a long layoff, but Edgard is here, and, you know, there's some pedigree. The half to Archie My Baby, who earned over 500,000. This horse is a player in this type of spot.
Saffy Park, owner of the number one horse in that race. Race number 6 this afternoon. I think you had another single in here with the 2, but let's give you the conditions. 5.5 on the Tapeta, claiming fillies, 3 or 4 and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. No scratches, jockey changes, and number 2, Bally Baby, is dropping to the 40 level today after responding good to the surface switch.
Yeah, this is my best bet of the day. I know this is for 3-year-old fillies and 4 and up, but there's no 4-year-olds, so there's only 3-year-olds here, so I think that's beneficial. And that race she comes out of was just tons better than this group. If she runs back to it, they won't beat her today.
The number 3 are Reposado Loca. They moves to the Rohan Crichton barn, debuts locally after pressing the pace early. We're going to go back and show you this horse up at Tampa. We're going to show just before the 8th foal home. But if you watched the race before on it, I did this, was just in a duel throughout and then just draws clear and wins. And boy, you got to respect these connections in here. Averill Racing with Rohan Crichton. In this one, the barn is 35% with new additions to the shed row. MSCL Jaramillo handling the surface switch. This horse was very impressive up there, and this is a sharp outfit, not only the trainer, the owners and everything. So I would keep an eye on the number 3, our Reposado Loca.
The only thing I will add is she was also very slow up there. It was a super slow race. Rohan's awesome, but you know what? Gerald Bennett's pretty darn good himself. Yeah. So, you know, we'll see what we get here. I admittedly don't have any idea what to make of this horse.
The number 6, Boss Lady Kim, should have the screws tightened after debuting locally in the Saffie Joseph Jr. barn and finishing 4th against 35 starter optional claimers, going 5.5 on the Tapeta. Edgar Zaya is going to jump aboard, so you expect this horse is going to improve today.
Yeah, I would think she's the main danger to Bally Baby. And we haven't talked about it at length, but Edgar got his sea legs under him last week, I think. Now it's his 2nd week back riding. I would expect him to make a good push this weekend.
And the race is called the Windy Gem. I don't know what that means, but I figured I'd point that out. It says it right there in the program. We're race number 7 this afternoon, 6 furlong starter allowance, 4-year-olds started for 25 or less. Scratch the number 2, Rough Entry. Got my long shot in here today, and that's the 3, Show Chuck, who's debuting locally and making his first start since reeling off back-to-back victories at Tampa and won those both races in front-running style. Ronaldo Richards, he's been okay here. He's 3 for 9, 33% with the 61 to 180-day layoff, and he's 5 for 14, 36% winning consecutive races, and he's got Miguel Vasquez at top. This is, just a speed play for me. I think this horse can certainly, I wish there wasn't a scratch in there. I don't know what price I'm going to get this afternoon, 12 to 1 on the morning line. Hey, go to the front and win for me.
Yeah, the price is going to get hurt because one of the favorites scratched out. You said a couple important things. I think the biggest one is that he named Miguel to ride here. Yeah. He said, you know what, we've got a horse that we think is going to fire today. Why don't you get aboard? So that's beneficial. This is Ronnie's long shot in the sequence. Mine's coming up. We filmed some videos on them. You can find them on Twitter. We'll show them later today, too. Our 2 long shot plays in the sequence.
The number 5, Spear Gun, is where you went. This one from the Rudin Gracita barn. Edgar Zayas in the saddle today. Comes off that dead heat victory, going 7 against those 35 claimers.
Yeah, I would kind of think the trip is to be lapped onto your pick, and maybe we try to get first run off the turn. That last race was really, really strong last time. I don't think the cutback will hurt us long either.
Maybe it sets up for the number 6, Smiling Two Fools, who does his best running, I believe, from a stalking position. Includes that starter optional claiming score last time out. Maybe he sits in the catbird seat. Now, this is a field that looks like got a bunch of need-to-lead types in it. Dan Hertak, you get Nemesi El Jaramillo in the saddle. I think maybe this horse sits a nice trip.
Danny and the team's done a good job with this horse. I will mention I scratched into my top pick because I had Rough Entry on top. Smiling Tuffles would be the one to benefit from a meltdown for sure.
And you got Joe DiBaggio, who's just a hard-knocking campaign. I can understand him having him on the ticket for Carlos David.
Yeah, he's a cool old horse, right? And he had a slow break last time, so maybe if he's a little bit, gets an alert beginning, he'll be a little tougher today.
8th race today, the finale in here. Remember, Super High 5, if there is a carryover, it must go. Also, we told you about the late pick 5 and the Rainbow 6. This one, a mile in the 16th on the Tapeta starter, optional claimer. Started for 35 or left. The tag is 35. No scratches in the last race, which is good, so you'll be able to see what the rainbow and everything is paying this afternoon. We can't do that when there's scratches in the race. I went with the number 9 horse in here, Quantum Theory, who's going back to the Tapeta, set the pace, finished third, was only beaten a neck in that race against this level of competition, going a mile on the turf. David Fawkes, 5 for 14, 36% with the turf to Tapeta angle. You get Edwin Gonzalez handling that surface switch today. And as I mentioned when we were talking the tickets, I like this horse this afternoon.
You know, you busted my chops a little bit because I opted out of this race and took the all, but we got 6 of the 8 horses that we picked are different. It's that kind of race. With that being said, I have no knock on Quantum Theory at all. We know how good Dave is on the Tapeta. This horse ran well to be second in his only other Tapeta start. The wide draw I didn't like, but he's got the speed maybe to negate it.
What about the horse you do have on top, Ghost in You, Junior Alvarado?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get 8, but I do think this horse is supposed to be a square price in here because he's kind of the forgotten horse. In his first start against Winners was a dud, and he hasn't been seen since, and that was in March. But look at the Tapeta race, 2 back, a very, very strong effort. He drops in class today as well. I think he's going to fire a good shot in here, Ronnie, on the comeback.
Similar what you're saying about on the Tapeta, Star Shopping, who broke his maiden on the Tapeta, was returning to the all-weather track, close to get beat, a hard-fought neck. I thought this was a good race. Went second in front of Quantum Theory last time out on the turf for Jennifer Young, and you found the stat.
Yeah, it's not a huge one, but check it out. Jennifer's got a very, very good feel for the Tapeta all-weather surfaces, and it's just right here at Gulfstream, 3 for 11. And not a huge one, like I said, but 27%. You know, this isn't a prolific barn by any stretch. So, I mean, she's doing good things in this particular arena, and Star Shopping is, like you hit on, another one of those horses with prior form to win this race.
And ended it up with the 3 Valiant Avengers, second against 35 starter optional claims. That was under Tapeta. Also going back, finished 6th behind similar, Ralph Nix, Edgar Zayas. This is another one that ran well under Tapeta and going back there.
Yeah, I would think they have to catch this horse, so you're going to know where to find him early, and that's in front.
Well, that is the 8th race on a very exciting special racing day on Florida's end of the fiscal year with the mandatory payouts. But we got our Rainbow 6, our lightning round to get to. And, of course, we started right with the trainers and jockeys, I think.
As always, and not a lot's changed since we left you last. I guess Amicia picked 2 off. I believe the margin was 12 last week, and Junior's back, too. I think that's a big positive.
Well, the big story is Edgar Perez, who had that 5-win day on, what was it, Saturday or Sunday? Yeah. Sunday. So he's moving up. Junior Alvarado has been up and down and all around. Now he's back. He's been riding steadily here. I'm sure he's going to move up. But Miguel Angel Vasquez just keeps winning those couple of races every day and keeps that lead. But it's been exciting watching that. Trainer standings, sort of similar.
Yeah, not a lot going on here. I feel like Rohan picked 1 up. I think he was 11 behind. Jose's back doing his thing, firing on all cylinders. And again, we can't say it enough. Joe Orsino, very, very good Royal Palm meet.
Well, you know, we got our best bet and long shots now on the lightning round. Who's your favorite?
Mine was Bally Baby falling in the rainbow, which is beneficial to me because I needed a single.
I went with the first race horse that's currently 9-5, and that is Muli, as we say, 9-5 up there. Showed you that little bit of a trouble trip last time out, getting bopped around at the 16th 8 pole in that race. Who was your long shot?
Long shot is early. That's Danny Hertak in race number 2. Truly, down inside at 20.
And my long shot is in the Rainbow Six sequence. Show Chuck, and as you mentioned, we got videos out there they can look at. 12-1 on the morning line for me for my long shot in race number 7.
And it's a big weekend here at Gulfstream Park with the Summit of Speed weekend, and front and center on Saturday, the Win and You're In Princess Rooney, which is, you know, a trip to the Breeders' Cup filly mare sprint, and then obviously the Smile as well. And we'll just show you Cece doing her thing last year en route to a Breeders' Cup win and a championship.
Yeah, use this race as a perfect springboard to win the Breeders' Cup, of course, filly and mare sprint. Just last year, CC, this is one special horse, and during the clock, as you mentioned, will also be running on Saturday, and that race is not a win and you're in, but you get money and you get some perks to get into the Breeders' Cup. So,
exactly.
Very exciting races. This is what it's all about in the summer here. Can't wait to see CC again.
Yeah, again, Michael McCarthy's done such a great job with her. Grade 1 winner going long, champion going short. And then Laurel, I know we've got our big weekend. Laurel's got a huge July.
Yeah, Joy, they have a lot of great races up there. 11 stakes totaling $1 million.
Yeah, so take note of that as they get going. And then, last but not least, and we're going to remind you, but I got to hit you over the head with the board, right? Your line? We got mandatory. Everything's got to go today.
Yeah, so make sure you get it in. It's a pretty nice sequence. Whatever you get in, and we'll be able to see how it plays out. And Brian made a couple of good points. Watch the board like in the second race. See who's taking money in the third. Maybe that'll help you out. Same thing with the late pick 5 and all that. Now we're going to turn it over to Mr. Pete Aiello. They give you the scratches, changes, and we'll be back here for race number 1.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.